I'm Ariana Grande.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Erivo.
And you're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Visit bpm.fm to discover more.
Everyone, welcome to our final episode of 2024. I'm Alan Seals here with the Theater Podcast, and we have a special crossover guest, Sarah Goodman, host of Good Show Podcast with Sarah Goodman. That's her, Sarah Goodman. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, it's me, Sarah Goodman.
Tell us about your podcast real quick. I personally love your podcast.
Oh,
so I had to have you on.
That's so kind of you. Yeah, Good Show is with me, Sarah Goodman. I'm looking at theater through a queer lens and talking about the craft of theater and how it connects with the LGBTQ plus community. But I also have a really exciting series coming up this year that's going to be all about designers, because I'm a sound designer and I love putting the spotlight on other designers. So we're going to get a bunch of special episodes in the spring that are all about designers.
Spring 25. All right. Can you believe we're in freaking we got like a few days left as we're recording this.
Yeah, it's wild.
2025, 2024, I'm ready to say goodbye to 2024 in many, many ways. And theater, including theater. I think theater still hasn't come back. We've had some changing of the guard in some leadership positions in theater in New York. And I'm anxious to see what happens this year in 25.
Yeah, some changes. It's been kind of a rocky year, I feel like, 24.
Overall, completely. Politically, economically, geopolitically. Anyway, so we're not here to talk about that. I saw a bunch of shows, tried to do more plays in 24, which was something I had promised myself I was going to do. And the first show I saw, January 13th, 24, was neither a play nor a musical. It was Illuminate. Which was this?
What was that show about?
It was at New World Stages. It was like a dance troupe, a hip hop dance troupe, where they had like fluorescent lights basically as skeletons.
Oh, like
different
on their
suits.
Costumes.
Yeah, on their costumes, and they would just do dance, like make different shapes and do dances in black light and low light. And it was really cool. I took the kids, and they had a good time.
That's fun.
And then I had a doubleheader, and followed by Our Class, also off Broadway. That was
very different vibes.
Very different vibes. That was for my Al Silber interview. One of my favorite interviews of the year, actually.
I love Al Silber.
That stands out. Yeah. Our Class is great. Do you remember the first show you saw?
I do. 24? It was Here We Are, the last Sondheim musical.
Oh, gosh.
I saw it at the Shed, and I loved it. It's unfinished, and it doesn't have a ton of music in it, but I really liked it. I thought it was cool. It was sort of like if Sondheim made an A24 film. That's what it felt like for me.
But there's no robots or time travel.
But it's unsettling. You know what I mean?
Yes. Well, was it unsettling because it wasn't finished, or just because that's the
No,
story?
it's kind of about the end of the world a little bit. It's very bizarre. It's based on an Ingmar Bergman film that I have not seen, but I need to check out at some point. And it's like kind of like a dystopian possible apocalypse kind of vibe. It's very strange, and I really liked it.
Is it meta in so much as that it's unfinished? An unfinished project about the end of the world. I mean, literally unfinished because the composer died in the middle of making it.
Yes.
So.
I think it's basically the storyline is like a group of rich friends are trying to go to brunch, and they keep going to different restaurants, and there's no food at any restaurant they go to. And it's like, what's happening, you know? But they're kind of oblivious to the fact that it's like very strange that everywhere they go, they can't be served. So they try like 3 different restaurants, and they keep having to leave and start over again.
That sounds like a fever dream montage from Friends.
Totally, or like Seinfeld or something.
Like Chandler.
Yeah. And then
Chandler can't get fed.
They can't get fed. And then the second act, they're trapped in a house, and they literally can't leave, and they have no food or water. So they're trying to figure out how they're going to survive, or if they're going to die in this room.
Interesting. Speaking of houses, that's about a C+ transition. I want to jump straight to Hills of California. Talk about like being stuck in a house.
Hills of California was my favorite play.
Absolutely, that stands out as my number one from 2024 in terms of plays. I
Yes.
loved everything about it. I loved the performances. I loved the story. I love the set. I think we saw it together, right? Yeah.
We
Yeah,
saw
we
it
saw it together.
together. Yeah.
And
The set was
blew me
stunning.
away. Was not surprising, the entire giant set. Usually, especially, these days with budgets being what they are, you don't get a big set on Broadway,
No.
even for plays. And this one did not disappoint, and the whole damn
Yeah.
thing rotated. It was amazing.
Yeah, and that was a surprise because it's so hyper realistic. The bottom half of the set is like the interior of a bed and breakfast hotel. And it's giant, it's massive, and it has these huge staircases going up and up and up. And then the further up the set goes, it kind of becomes like an MC Escher drawing. Like the stairs don't end up meeting anything, or there's like doors floating in the middle of
Yeah, there's
space.
literally doors
And
hanging off the back wall that never get connected to anything. It's just like this sort
yeah.
of, like, the farther away you go, the more abstract it gets. I love it.
Yeah, and I think that was really a beautiful addition to the storytelling of like what happened upstairs was like bad and scary, and that it's sort of this like distant, almost like you can't even get there. It's a very haunting story. And there is some, mentioning of sexual assault. It's kind of a big part of the plot, but I feel like they told that story in a very respectful and beautiful way, that it wasn't just like traumatizing the audience for no reason. It felt like it had a purpose.
Okay, here's another C plus transition. It traumatized me. Well,
I know what you're going to say.
Well-
Wait, no, maybe I don't.
wait. Okay, say it. 1, 2, 3. Left on
McNeil.
10th.
Left on 10th was traumatizing.
It was. I mean, I love the actors.
Yeah.
Every individual person and item on the surface is great. Put it all together, and it was just not good.
Okay. McNeil, I felt traumatized me for no reason. I felt like they were just really bringing us all down for why.
Well, it's nice to see. There was a lot of people this year actually coming out of I guess the writer's strike, right? TV and film people didn't have work to do, so because that long writer's strike that was happening. So we had. I mean, this was Robert Downey Jr.'s Broadway debut, and Uncle Vanya with
Steve Carell.
with Steve Carell. He was great in that. That
I
was
missed
another.
that one. Was that was at Lincoln
another
Center as
great
well,
one.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was another Lincoln Center performance.
Mm-hmm.
He was great. We had Rachel McAdams in Mary Jane, and her performance again she was great in that. I wanted her to get dirtier, like in terms of emotionally just messy. Would have liked to have seen that. That was really good to see her. Days of Wine and Roses. I'm the king of C plus transitions today. Days of Wine and Roses again. Speaking of people who I want to see dirtier, I thought Kelly O'Hara and Brian Darcy James were great in that.
That's
I
another one I
wanted
missed.
to-
I missed Days of Wine
I
and
wanted
Roses.
to see Kelly was Kelly. She was. I don't think she was exactly right for that role. I wanted to see her get like messy, like mascara running down her face and just messy alcohol.
Yeah. A little grittier.
Something else that I thought was really good was a Russian Troll Farm.
Oh, I
really
loved
enjoyed that
Russian
off
Troll
Broadway.
Farm. That was fabulous.
Right?
That was really, really good. It was funny, but it was also like very touching. I was not expecting to have it be both a comedy and also have like some really intense dramatic moments. And like Christine Lati, I've been a huge fan of hers forever.
She's incredible.
Love her on television. Had never seen her in
Yeah.
a play. She was phenomenal. And she has a monologue in that play that, woo, it took me out. It was amazing. Amazing performance.
It really, really was. And the fact that it was all based on, I mean, it wasn't based on, it's literal fact. It
Yeah,
was-
which I didn't really know all the details about that. Like, I knew there were bots out there and I knew there were trolls out there, but I was not aware of the fact that there are human beings sitting in an office and their job is to type up a bunch of fake shit on Facebook.
and have multiple
That's
accounts.
wild.
They have whole conversations
Yeah.
with themselves with multiple burner accounts.
Yeah, I had no clue. I mean, I knew that like Russia influenced the 2016 election and that they had bots and they had a bunch of stuff on Facebook, but I didn't realize how deeply it was like really deep operation with the posting and conversations and like there could be a whole thread that's all one person talking to themselves.
Yeah,
Really
like
amazing.
Elon is just outed for doing. But we're not going there. Well, I'm looking at my calendar to see what I've seen over the last year. Oh, I had a whole day of jury duty. That was I had a couple of days of jury duty.
Oh,
so,
that's rough.
That
We don't
happened.
love
I'm
jury
good for another
duty.
8 years?
Oh man,
How long does it last? 8 years, I think.
I don't know.
Let's see. So we got jury duty, which is not a show. That's what I went to. I saw The Connector.
Oh, I
Another
loved The Connector
off-Broadway.
as well. And you want to hear a fun story about me going to see The Connector? I went to opening night because my friend Erin was the PSM, the production stage manager. So I got to be her date for opening night. I loved the musical. It was fabulous. We come out of the show and we go find our friend Erin, and she's like, Bernadette Peters is here. She's my number
You're
one. I'm
obsessed.
obsessed with Bernadette Peters. I'm obsessed with her. I have a
Yeah,
tattoo of
yeah.
her. I love her so much. I saw her live for the first time this year. And apparently she was in the audience at the opening night of The Connector. I did not get to see her that night, but she sat
so
behind
good.
me somewhere.
I really loved it, and that was my first exposure to Hannah.
Hannah Cruz. We love Hannah
my first exposure to Hannah Cruz,
Oh,
yeah.
me too. And she blew me away.
Yeah.
That song Cassandra, I've known for a few years because Jason Robert Brown has performed it at his solo shows at like 54 Below or whatever. And
Yeah.
I've always loved that song, but in context of the play, it was like even better.
I mean, Hannah is just great. I mean,
Yeah, she's incredible.
her in Suffs.
She was my favorite
she-
thing in Suffs also.
Yeah, because she left The Connector a week or two early before their run was scheduled to end because she was starting rehearsals for Suffs.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course there's Suffs. There. Let's see. This March 4th, I saw Life and Slimes of Mark Summers.
Oh yeah, we saw that together too. That was so fun.
Right. We've run into him a couple times.
Yeah.
Like at red
He's
carpets
been on the
and
carpet
things.
a couple times for
And
New
he-
World stages. Yeah,
Yeah, he still recognizes us.
He's
just
such a
like
sweetheart.
this cool guy. I love that.
his
And
show
then
was great, and the storyline of his show like surprised me. I thought it was just going to
Had no
be
clue.
funny and silly, and like, oh, this guy was on Double Dare, and like he did all these silly TV shows about food, but like he did a deep dive into his own personal trauma. Like he had a lot of really hard stuff he had to go through in his life. He talks about his struggles with OCD, and he talks about this really horrifying car accident he got into. He almost died and had to have all these major surgeries, and like he's really bounced back from a lot of adversity in his life and is still such like a positive guy. It was such a fun show.
Yeah.
Also, they had a plant in that show that was so well done. Do you remember that? He was like sitting near us.
Yes. Yeah. I remember that. And then like I can't remember if the guy's mom was real or part of the thing.
Yeah.
I think the plant's mom was actually
His mom.
Yeah.
And maybe he didn't tell her. Or so, I don't know. She
Yeah.
seemed just as blown away as we were that he got
Yeah.
pulled into the show and then ended up being the MD. That was really funny.
Let's see. Brooklyn Laundry. I saw another TV celebrity. That was with Cecily Strong.
Oh, I love Cecily Strong, but I missed out on that one too.
That was good. Let's see. Stephen Schwartz event capture.
That was fun. At Museum of Broadway.
Museum of Broadway. Yep.
It was very
yep, yep.
cool to meet Stephen Schwartz. I booty bumped him off the piano bench a little bit. I was setting up his microphone. Oops, sorry, buddy.
Sorry, buddy. Oh gosh. Oh, here come our big openings.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
in
March,
now on my
April,
calendar.
March, April.
The Notebook.
Notebook. Beautiful music, very sweet.
Beautiful.
Not necessarily
beautiful.
my favorite thing I saw of the season,
No.
but I love Joy Woods, and she really. I love the Joy Woods ascension of 2024 is one of my favorite things to watch because like
Everything. Yeah. Whenever there's a new show announced, the joke was, is Joy Woods going to be in that one
Yeah.
too? Like, who's next? Is Joy Woods going in?
well
that?
because here's what happened, right? Joy Woods starred in Little Shop of Horrors, which she
Yeah.
started in as an urchin and then ascended to being playing Audrey. And then she goes to Notebook. It's her Broadway debut. She's incredible. She steals the show. She's got the best song in the show. And then she gets cast as Sarah in the Ragtime concert at City Center. And then suddenly she's no longer playing Sarah. And everyone's like, we smell a Louise somewhere in the mix. And they were right, because then she was announced as Louise for Gypsy revival with Audrey McDonald. And lo and behold, that's what she's doing now.
Which I still have not seen. I see it next week.
Me too.
My tickets came through for next week.
So I'm seeing it
I
next
haven't
week
seen
too.
that
I
yet.
cannot wait. That's going to be my
remember-
first show of 25.
Yes, same. Let's see, March 27th. You and I saw Water for Elephants together.
That's right.
We saw Water for Elephants. Loved the performances. I thought, again, the script and the music, not the best. And then that was a doubleheader day for me. I saw The Outsiders that evening.
Oh, and you
which,
love The Outsiders.
hands down, was my favorite musical of last season.
Yeah, I missed that one still.
still.
I gotta catch it.
Let's see. Then we kicked into our Aladdin 10th anniversary stuff.
Yeah,
we saw Aladdin.
we
I
love
saw Aladdin
Aladdin.
again. The Who's Tommy. That was interesting. I really liked it. I liked it because it was different, but I wouldn't recommend it to somebody who likes musicals.
I wish it had
if that
lasted
makes
longer
sense.
because I missed that one too. They didn't get a super long life, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't quite know why. Some of that stuff is hit or miss. Like that sort of plays to the older crowd when it comes to that. The jukebox musicals
Right.
for
Boomer
I
age
guess,
people and above.
Yeah, boomer
Yeah.
age. Which you would think it would have done well, because that's sort of like the people now with retirement income and disposable income in this area to buy those high priced tickets.
Right.
So in April, I saw Suffs. Yeah, again, Hannah Cruz.
Hannah Cruz was the best thing about it. I loved Hannah
yep.
Cruz. When she comes out on the horse during the march, that was my favorite. I was like, wow, Lee Silverman. Sometimes she takes a real big swing, and I like that.
Yep. Oh, did you listen to my interview with Hannah? Like there was originally no head on the horse.
Yeah, and then there also was talks of having a real horse at one point. Like on Broadway,
Yeah.
they were like, what if we got
That's
an
what they
actual
wanted.
live horse? And I was like, please don't.
That was the first choice, and it was too expensive.
Don't
and
have
too
a real
complicated.
horse on Broadway. That's wild.
Have you ever seen a horse take a giant dump on stage? Yeah.
I'm sure we would if they had a real horse.
Yes.
Oh my God. Call Bill Berloni. He's got the horses, I bet.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the episode. The Wiz opened in April. That was a lot of fun.
I was so sad to miss The Wiz. I love that musical so much, and I really wanted to see it and just never got a chance to.
Gatsby was one of the best sets I have ever seen.
Oh, is it? I haven't seen Gatsby
Yeah.
either. I'm like really behind on a lot of these things.
This is the Eva Jeremy Jordan version,
Right.
for those keeping track
the
at home.
first of the two, because we
Yes.
haven't gotten the Florence Welch version yet in New York.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I saw Teeth in its first incarnation, and I saw Teeth again at New World Stages a few weeks ago.
I saw
and
Teeth
if
at New
you're-
World Stages in October.
Oh, it's just, I enjoyed it. I know it wasn't your cup of tea.
It wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, but I appreciate what they're doing with it. Like I could see where they were coming from, but it's just not for me. Like I don't love gore necessarily. Like I will say the score is fantastic. The music's great,
Yeah.
and everybody is like singing down. Especially what's the lead's name? You just interviewed her recently.
Elise Allen Lewis.
Yes, she was amazing. Blew me away with her vocals, truly. And the show, like, I was entertained. I'll say that. I was very entertained during the whole thing. But I was like, whoa.
Are you not entertained?
Some of it was a little beyond for me. But you know, it's everyone has their own tastes.
Teeth. Let's see. Hell's Kitchen. I enjoyed Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen had the best sound design that I've heard.
That's a Gareth
in a
Owen.
very
That's a
long
Gareth
time.
Owen joint.
Yes. Oh yeah. You know all the sound designers.
Yeah.
That's your world. Yeah. Hell's Kitchen I thought was phenomenal, and Malia Joey Moon just incredible. Everybody in the show was great. That was a strong contender for best musical along with Outsiders. Very, very, very strong.
A show that got incredibly snubbed and also barely made it at all was Lempicka. I gotta give a shout out. Pour one out for Lempicka.
Oh man,
I know.
And I when I interviewed Eden Espinosa, she confirmed the situation. I remember that somebody was recording during. It was like the 11 o'clock number. Someone had their phone out recording Eden in the final performance, and Eden stopped and called them out during the final performance.
Yeah.
And just etiquette, theater etiquette.
People need to pull it together.
Well, just put their phones
Put your phone away.
Put your phone away.
This is a live experience. Just like live in the moment.
There's other people. Be considerate.
That's right.
Going back to Teeth, D+ transition to General off Broadway. I want to bring up. Let's see, Titanic. I saw several times.
Oh, I've seen Titanic 3 times, and I would see it 10 more times. I love that show.
And then also speaking of Marla Mandel and that team, Big Gay Jamboree, I thought was hella fun. Too bad that did not have a longer life
I know.
as well.
I love Marla Mandell's voice, and I think her kooky, crazy ideas are hilarious. But I'm just a huge Titanic stan, I gotta say. It's such a... I love that show. And my friend Jackie Burns was Celine for a while. I got to see her play it twice. And everyone who goes into that show is incredible. There's an Alphabet of Celine pipeline that's going on. There's been many former Alphabets playing Celine.
What if it's the same range, or if it's just kind of like that kooky?
I think it's just
you have to be a little kooky.
Yeah, I think like the Alphabet's got to have some vocal stamina. You know what I mean? Like, I think vocal first. Like, they're very similar. You know, you got to be able to belt really high and strong. And the thing, I mean, Celine is way goofier than Alphabet for sure. Alphabet's a little more serious, but
I wonder what's harder. You should ask Jackie next time you talk to her if it's what's harder, Alphabet or Celine.
Oh, that's a great question. I will ask her that. I will, for sure.
And then,
I should have her on my show.
See if you can get text her, get her voice note, and if you can get it in time, I'll edit it in.
Okay, yeah, I will. I'll ask her on voice note if she'll be on this podcast and say, what's harder?
Send a quick voice note.
What's harder, Alphabet or Celine? Go.
What's harder and why?
Yeah.
So here is my personal opinion on what is harder, Alphabet in Wicked or Celine in Titanic. They are apples and oranges. I don't feel like you can compare them. Alphabet is hard in itself of just getting green and ungreen every day, and also vocally it is rough and physically demanding with the dresses, especially in the second act and running up and down the stairs. Celine is really hard in the fact that the audience is your scene partner, and your audience is different every day, and sometimes they are raring to go and it's a delight and a joy, and then sometimes they are not interested and don't want to be there, and it is really, really hard to have a scene partner that doesn't want to be in the scene with you. So they're different muscles that are being flexed. So again, I don't think I could compare them. Both of them are ridiculously hard. I felt after Alphabet I could do anything, and now that I've done Celine, I was like, oh, okay, now I feel like I can do anything plus something, because it's just, they're both extremely difficult roles, and amazingly gratifying and rewarding. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh, I gotta mention also, this is not from this season. I did say my favorite play this season was Hills of California, but my favorite play last season was Stereophonic.
Yes.
I loved Stereophonic.
I still have a hard time thinking of that as a play. I know it is.
It feels more like a musical because it has so much music, but it's all diegetic, so it's a play.
I'm just gonna blow through these. Let's see: Cabaret, Heart of Rock and Roll, Uncle Vanya. Oh, my brother's birthday. That's on my calendar too. Well, this is a long time. Let's see. I'm only halfway through the year. Patriots.
Oh,
surprisingly,
okay. I missed Patriots.
Surprisingly good. I went in with zero expectations. Not in a bad way. I just knew nothing about it, and I don't know how much of this is literal fact or how much is exaggeration, but the story of how Putin played these corporate moguls in Russia to become elected the head of the country and then completely flipped on them and became essentially who he is now. It was really crazy to see this story.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it really was fascinating. I liked it a lot.
I saw Three Houses at Signature Theater, the Dave Malloy musical off Broadway in June. I loved that. It was about the pandemic. It had very cool chamber music kind of style, and the set was really cool, a unit set. And the musicians were all over the stage in different spots in these armchairs. It was really cool. There's a cellist and a guitar player and was there percussion? I don't think there was percussion. With piano and a little chamber, 4 or 5 musicians. Very, very cool. Directed by Annie Tipp, one of my favorite directors. I also saw The Lonely Few at MCC that month, which I loved, with Lauren Patton.
Yep.
Did you see that? Did you see Lonely Few?
I didn't see that. I missed that one.
Oh, it's so good. Helen J. Shen was in that as well. She's now in Maybe a Happy Ending on Broadway. Speaking
of musicians that you see that maybe you should or shouldn't, I don't know. Our Town? What do you think of that?
Our Town. I didn't love it. I felt like they made some weird choices with time period. It's a period piece. It's set around like the 1910s into the 30s. And they did this like
But the clothing is
modern
all over the
clothing.
place.
It was
Yeah.
like a weird mixture of like modern and old timey. And I didn't understand what they were doing with it. I didn't love it. It felt, I hate to say this, it sort of felt like a high school play.
With bacon.
And then it smelled like bacon. And I read an article about how they actually do cook bacon. They cook bacon.
Wait,
Every
they're
show,
cooking
the
bacon?
stage manager is cooking bacon.
While calling cues, they're cooking bacon?
Well, it's probably not it's not the PSM. It's like there's like 5 stage managers on every show. That's an exaggeration, but there are multiple stage managers on most Broadway shows.
on that show, there's a BSM, the bacon stage manager.
That's right. They're the BSM.
Yeah. The BSM was cooking bacon.
They're the sous
Can you imagine
chef.
getting union stagehand rates for cooking bacon.
Yeah, they're cooking
I'm
real
all about
bacon. I don't know why they did that. I guess, she's talking about breakfast in the scene, but I
don't
thought it
know.
was so strange. And it kind of made me angry because the play was long and it made me hungry. And I was like, can I just get out of here and get some bacon now? Because what's up? We sat in the front, so it was very bacony.
I saw Little Shop twice. Once with it was Constance Wu, Corbin Bleu combo, and then again with Sarah Hyland and Andrew Barth
Oh, I
Feldman.
love Andrew Barth Feldman so much.
Yes.
And he's a perfect Seymour. Perfect Seymour.
He is. I enjoyed both pairings equally, but yeah, Andrew Barth Feldman just embodies that. And for those who don't know who he is, he was in that movie with Jennifer Lawrence.
No.
Also,
What was it called? No Hard
2024, right?
Feelings or something?
No Hard Feelings. Yeah. So he was the nerdy kid in that, and he's been in several other things. High School Musical, the musical to play, the musical series.
Yeah, and
or
I think he
something.
was in Evan Hansen at one point.
Yeah, he was in Evan Hansen straight while he was still in high school. I think he was 17.
Yeah, he won the Jimmy Awards, right? Or he was like
Right.
a contender for like finalist.
Yeah,
he won.
Correct me if I'm wrong, listeners. I think it was him and Renee Rapp that
Yes.
year. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it was them that year. They've both gone on to do some pretty great things.
No
Let's
kidding.
see.
But yeah,
Right.
I love that kid. He has a really amazing one-man show that he's done at 54
Really?
Below that's about Disneyland and his mother's death. And like
Oh.
this beautiful, beautiful story. And then he does a one-man version of Fantasmic. It's amazing. It's really amazing.
What's About a Mattress? That was fun.
At City Center or on Broadway?
On Broadway.
I saw it at City Center. I thought it was delightful. I loved it. I love that musical. Mary
Yeah.
Rogers. I mean, so good.
It was great. It was absolutely great. Let's see. I saw Back to the Future again. So, well, yeah, okay.
I saw Back to the
Future's-
Future for the first time a few months ago, and I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was really fun.
Right? It is fun. It
It's super
is
fun.
fun. It is fun. It's not original, that's for sure, because you
It's
know it.
okay.
And they didn't
Not everything
really change.
has to be Sondheim, you know, but it was like really entertaining, and the music and the big chorus numbers and stuff were so much better than I anticipated. So I was pleasantly
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah.
And the tech in that show is unbelievable. Like the car and the flying and the whole sequence at the end really blew my mind. And another Gareth Owen show. It was very loud and the sound design was good.
Let's see. I saw Celino v. Barnes off Broadway. That was a lot of fun. That parenting musical.
Oh, so much controversy around that one.
Yeah.
This year.
Explain that.
So they originally had a band. I don't remember how big it was, but let's just say it's like 4 or 5 players, right? Not very big. Off-Broadway musical. They had a band orchestrated / hired for the show. And then in an effort to cut costs, they decided that they were going to start using tracks instead.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got in really hot water with the musicians union. 801, 802? Can't
Because you're
remember.
required to have a certain number of musicians at every house.
That
right?
is
Isn't that
for
what the rules are?
Broadway. Off Broadway has different rules, but I think technically they weren't breaking any rules, but they had hired musicians and then fired them.
Oh.
And so that was the problem. And then the actors in the show, in solidarity for unions, said, well, we're not going to do this either, because if the musicians union says you're on the no work list, then maybe we're not going to do it either. So then they kind of backpedaled and they were like, okay, no, we will get a band. And they like tried to hire back the original band. And most of those musicians, I think maybe all of them actually said no. And they had to end up hiring other people. So yeah, it was kind of a big controversy. The musicians union went so far as to put them on the no work list and also post about it on Instagram saying like this musical is we think they're breaking the rules or like taking advantage of these musicians and they're trying to skirt the rules and like shows that cut costs and get rid of human jobs. Really not good, not great.
Yeah.
So they had kind of a bad rep going in.
I knew there was controversy. I didn't realize it was that involved.
Yeah.
And I remember something similar to Here Lies Love from previous season.
Yes.
Because remember Here Lies Love, they wanted to use tracks too. That was a David Byrne thing.
Yeah, but that show had always been tracks, so it was a little bit different. But they still forced them to hire a band, and I don't know if that band ended up playing music or not. But they had to pay musicians to be there.
Oh, they worked around it too by having some people like just literally walk on stage with like a djembe and a tambourine and some other like percussion instruments. Yeah, anyway, I want to bring up real quick. I noticed on my calendar Beetlejuice 2 because that is semi-related to
the film.
The film Beetlejuice 2. Yes. Did you get to see that at all?
No, I didn't. It's on my list. I love the first. I love the original Beetlejuice film. I don't know the musical either. I will admit it's from this time period where I don't know a lot about theater, like contemporary musicals. I have a big gap in my knowledge in the teens.
I enjoy it. I liked Beetlejuice the musical more than Beetlejuice 2 the movie.
Okay.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'll say that. There was one too many interconnected storylines in the movie. They could have cut one and it would have been great.
Okay. They're trying to do too much.
Trying to fit it all in there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. From what's open so far, I'm just skimming through the rest. What's open so far in 25? I gotta say, I think maybe Happy Ending is my vote for best musical so far.
Okay, my vote is for Death Becomes Her. I love Death Becomes Her. I saw it out of town in Chicago and I loved it. And I saw it on Broadway a few weeks back and I think it's absolutely phenomenal. It's really fun. It's right up my alley though. It's very campy. It's got a lot of diva action. It's like sparkly. It's very silly, but smart silly, I think.
It is. And I wonder though, like when you replace Megan Hilty and Jen Smart and even Chris Sieber, like when their contracts are over, they move on. I wonder if it's going to have that staying power because it's made around them, their personalities, right?
Yeah.
And, I would have said actually the same thing about Titanic and Marlon Dell, and look how that's gone. So
yeah, I think we got a lot of divas out there. I think there's a lot of divas out there who could come in and step into those roles and nail it. But right now, if you get a chance, listeners, you got to see Jen Smart and Megan Hilty. They are serving up some incredible performance, like truly, truly amazing. I don't know how they're doing it. Megan Hilty, she's mine. I think number one. I mean, I haven't seen Audrey yet, and I did see Nicole Scherzinger in Sunset, and that was spectacular. But Megan Hilty, I think, is my number one for Best Actress right now. Tony Awards. I think she's just working her ass off and nailing it, absolutely nailing it.
Nicole Scherzinger, I think. I don't know if she hurt herself too much with outing herself as a Trump supporter.
Where do I get that hat?
Where do I get that hat? Yeah.
The internet discourse over those few days was so entertaining.
God. That's all Reddit talked about.
Say.
That was all Reddit was talking about.
It was really, really funny to me. The way people will turn on you in a heartbeat. You know.
How would you dream cast maybe Happy Ending?
Oh, that's hard because I think Helen J. Shen is just so good.
She really is.
I liked Darren Criss, but I think there's other actors out there who could nail that role.
Andrew Barth Feldman.
Andrew Barth Feldman would be very cute. That would have been adorable if they'd cast them together because they are a real life couple.
Oh, right. Helen J. Shen. Yeah, I was like, Darren Criss is not dating Andrew Barth Feldman.
No.
Yes.
No, and Andrew Barth Feldman's not gay.
No. No, Helen and Andrew
are a couple, and they are absolutely adorable together. And I think Helen J. Shen, I can't imagine anyone else taking that role from her, but I think he would be cute in that role, in the Darren Criss role. Who else was I thinking of? And then they escaped my mind.
I like to see Chris Fitzgerald as Hwaboon.
For those of you who may not know, Hwaboon is a plant.
No, a
An
literal
inanimate plant.
A literal plant.
Like a succulent. A succulent in a pot.
Not an audience plant. Not a Mark Summers
No, I
plant.
did really love Maybe Happy Ending. And if it won the Best Musical Tony, I would be so pleased for them because it's so fresh. It's completely original. It's not based on a movie or a book or anything. It's like it had its own life as a musical in Korea. It's very popular over there. And I think they did a wonderful job adapting it to English. I think it's like a really beautiful story. It just like warmed my heart. And it's really nice to see something that's just like beautiful and positive. You know, it's not about trauma. It's not a tragedy. It's not a slog of 1 million people dying and whatever. And it's not some stupid regurgitation of something we've seen 1 million times. It's like a really cute, sweet story.
Yeah.
And had a really beautiful projection design.
It was great. I cannot say enough things about Maybe Happy Ending.
Yeah.
Enough good things. It's just this cute little story wrapped in a bow, right in this feel-good bow. And I just hope it makes it to the Tonys long enough to still be open after it gets the recognition that I hope it gets.
I think
during
so
the
too.
Tonys.
Yeah, it's a really great show.
It's tough for a completely original show to open as early as it did before the Tonys and still make it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there were some rumors for a while that it wasn't even going to make it to opening. So like they've been struggling, but they're still surviving. So go see that show. Go support Maybe Happy Ending. It's so good.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the episode. Oh, Sunset Boulevard.
Wow.
You mentioned that, but the set, the tech in that show blew me away.
I interviewed the video designers for Good Show. Y'all
when does that
can
come out?
hear that in March. Yet, right? That's coming out in March.
Okay.
Their video design for this show is the most ambitious and the most perfectly executed LCD screen, LED wall incorporation into a musical, into a theatrical piece I've ever seen in my life. It was thrilling and stunning. We saw that show together. That first moment that they bring the screen on when he's driving the car and the credits, they do like film credits, like film opening credits. It's so cool. And it just makes so much sense for the piece.
Yeah, they make you feel like you're watching TV while they're performing it live for you. It's really great. It's such an interesting concept. I love it at the beginning of Act 2 where they go outside the theater.
Oh, the walk around
they do the walk around outside. It's incredible. Yeah, so go see Sunset Boulevard. I need to go back and see it with Mandy Gonzalez.
Me too.
She's the alternate, the scheduled alternate.
Yeah, and she's got a lot more dates on the calendar. I wish I could see Carolyn Bowman do it, but she's about to start doing Smash soon.
Oh, right. Gosh, just rounding out my list. I skipped a couple things, but gosh, A Wonderful World, Elf the Musical, Tammy Faye. Oh, God, wrong place, wrong time, wrong country.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Tammy Faye, I grew up in the evangelical South, literally in North Carolina, in the area that Tammy Faye set in, and I came out feeling so much hate that was revived. I guess the Band-Aid was ripped off of my healing from being ostracized by all the religious people when I was growing up in that area. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, having that show about the rise of white supremacy, white Christianity,
we don't want to see it.
Right after our election cycle here in the States, was not the right time to have that show.
Totally.
So closed, 3 weeks? Did it make it 3 weeks or 5? I forget.
Not very many. Very short amount of time, unfortunately.
Let's see. I saw 6 sit down in D.C. over Thanksgiving with my brother. I hadn't seen the touring cast in a while. Death Becomes Her, yes. So funny.
Have you seen Oh Mary? I saw Oh Mary this year on Broadway.
No, I didn't see Oh Mary.
Oh,
that was one of the ones I missed.
Oh Mary, Alan. It is so incredible. It's the funniest play I've ever seen. I laughed so hard I could barely breathe.
That was one I missed. I want to see it with Betty Gilpin because I just love Betty in general.
Me too, and I loved Glow. Glow.
Yeah, gotta go back and see that. Let's see, Eureka Day. Eureka Day was really fun. I again went into that knowing nothing about it, and it was very, very it was very funny. It was really funny. So what hasn't opened yet, starting in 2025, what are you looking forward to the most?
What am I looking forward to most in 2025? You know, it's already open, but Gypsy with Audra. I mean, I haven't seen it yet. I'm seeing it in a week. I'm so excited. Highly anticipated revival. People have been rumoring Audra to play Gypsy for years. Years and years and years. This rumor's been floating around. And now it's finally happening. And, the 6-time Tony-winning queen, I think is going to be hitting one out of the park again. I hear a lot of really positive things. And I love old-fashioned musicals. And Gypsy, I think, is the best musical of all time, perhaps. I think it's the best.
That's a claim. That's a bold claim.
I think it has the best book and music of it's a perfectly written musical. I'm not saying it's maybe I'm not saying it's the best of all time, but it is a perfectly written musical. And I love the storyline, the story arc of it. I love Stephen Sondheim. I love Julie Stein. It looks like they're really putting in the budget for the set and the costumes and the whole thing. So I can't wait to see that. What else? Smash.
This list. Yeah, Smash. There's so
Smash is going to be fun. The show is ridiculous. They've changed it a lot, I've heard, from the television show. But I love Robin Herder.
Same. Oh, same. I didn't realize there were so many open theaters. I'm looking at everything scheduled to open in 2025.
There's so many things coming.
English. Redwood with Idina.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Redwood.
That will be interesting.
Boop is going to be wonderful. I'm very excited for that.
Operation Mincemeat.
Yeah, that's very. I don't know what the hell that is. That looks interesting. I think it's about World War II.
Yeah. World War II.
But it's a comedy.
A comedy that did really well in the West End. It won an Olivier Award.
Okay.
So it's doing good stuff. Buena Vista Social Club.
Oh, that'll be awesome. I'm really curious to see what they do with it. Is it going to be like Illinois, where it's sort of like a concert that's theatricalized with like dance or something? Or is there going to be a book to it? Because the album is a lot of different songs. I don't know if they're going to use it to do like a narrative or what, but I can't wait to find out.
I don't know.
That music's great.
Othello, Purpose. I don't know anything about Purpose. The Picture of Dorian Gray.
Oh, that looks great. I'm very excited about that. With Sarah Snook, who I guess is from Succession. I never watched Succession, so I don't know. Yeah. But the ads for that, it just looks really cool.
Makes her Broadway debut playing 26 characters.
Yeah, it's a one-woman play version of the show. It's going to be cool. Killer. It looks really cool.
We're getting Glenn Ross back with Bob Odenkirk and Kieran.
Why are we doing that?
I like Bob Odenkirk. I'm excited to see Bob.
Okay, sure.
I want to see him.
Yeah, totally. He's great.
Kieran Culkin. There's 2 Succession peoples though.
Their Succession is taking over Broadway.
Right. Boop, like you said, Smash, Good Night and Good Luck with George Clooney.
That'll be very interesting. Also very weird that it's going into the Palace, which is a huge theater, right? Like, I feel like putting an intimate play into a giant theater is a real choice, but they're thinking that George Clooney's going to pull in the ticket sales. We'll see about that.
We'll see. Last 5 years, I figure, we'll see. I like Adrienne Warren in anything she does.
Same.
I don't need Nick Jonas. I don't need another last 5 years. But
Also,
Adrienne, I'll go see. John Proctor is the villain.
Oh, I'm curious about that. That sounds interesting.
It does. We're already in March and April now of 25. Let's see. Stephen Sondheim's old friends.
Okay,
with
that.
Bernadette.
Woo! And Beth Level.
That's you. And Leah Salonga.
Yes. That'll be amazing. I'm so excited for that. I'll be there a million times. I'll go to that as many times as I possibly can. If anybody listening wants to put me on the sound team or give me an associate position on Sondheim's Old Friends, I will take it.
Let's see. Floyd Collins.
Oh, that'll be cool. I love that. Adam Gettle, beautiful score.
Yeah, Adam Gettle's great. Let's see. Stranger Things, The First Shadow. So the official Stranger Things play.
The play, yeah. Not Stranger Sings, but...
No, not the parody.
No.
This is official Olivier Award-winning prequel, so this is Olivier Award-winning as well. London's just bringing over their Oliviers. Just in time. Real Women Have Curves. Pirates, the Penzance.
Oh, Pirates of Penzance I was not excited about until they announced that Jinx Monsoon is going to be in it, and now I want to see it, because anything Jinx does is fantastic.
And Ramin Karimloo and David Hyde Pierce.
Oh, Ramin's in it too?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yes. The 3 of them together. Let's see. Dead Outlaw, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, and Waiting for Godot, starring Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter, which
That's
I'm
gonna be
super
hilarious.
excited about.
Bill and Ted. That'll be so funny. I want to see that. I want to see that.
I met Alex Winter once because he's a director. He became a director, he stepped away from acting and started directing, and I met him once on one of his projects he was promoting to direct, and like just a nice guy. But like to see the two of them together again, I think is going to be so cool.
Yeah.
Just to watch them. And then Waiting for Godot is just so funny anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm excited
I don't
about
know.
that.
So okay, so pick one. Is Sondheim's Old Friends, is that your number one because it's Bernadette?
Yeah, definitely is. It's not a book musical, so I don't know if it really fits into the rest, but it is the one I'm the most excited to see. I did see Bernadette Peters in concert at Carnegie Hall this year for the first time ever in my life. I've been in love with her since I was 8 years old. I finally saw her in person for the first time in October. Her concert was so great. She looks and sounds absolutely incredible. She's ageless. And so, yeah, Sondheim's Old Friends, I'm really thrilled to see that. But like book musical wise, I'm really torn between Boop and Smash. I don't know. Also, that sounds like such a goofy sentence. Between Boop and Smash, I'm not really sure. What about you?
I was just looking. I think okay. From what I know, the stories that I know, I am excited to see actually Dorian Gray and Waiting for Godot because I love those books. Reading those books in high school, I remember loving them. Personally, like I've never seen Pirates of Penzance, so I'm excited to see that. I think again, oh god, this is hard. I think I also am too. Do I swipe left on Smash or swipe right on Boop? Let's see. Boop or Smash? What are we doing? I think plus Glenn. I mean. God, this is going to be tough. It's really going to be tough. What I was going to say, though, from what I don't know, I feel like Operation Mincemeat might really surprise me because in the same way I went into Hills of California, not knowing anything, not expecting anything, coming over from the West End and being popular there, I feel like this might have that same sort of sweep.
It might. You never know. The Brits are onto something right now.
They're good. They got some good stuff over there. All right. Well... Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, Sarah.
Yeah.
And
I saw 50 shows in 2024. That was the most I've ever seen in 1 year in my life. It was really amazing. I saw 50 shows, 19 on Broadway.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be part of it and see all this stuff, like to be in New York, in the city where, in theory, so much originates, right? So either London or New York. So to see it come out and have these things have longer lives beyond the limited runs that they get here for whatever reason, it's really cool. It's really cool. So I don't take that for granted.
Totally, it's a privilege.
It's a privilege. It is a privilege. Well, again, Happy New Year. Follow Sarah Goodman. Where can we find your podcast? Where can we find your socials?
My podcast is on the Broadway Podcast Network, so you could go to bpn.fm/goodshow or find Good Show with Sarah Goodman anywhere you can get your podcasts. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Good Show Podcast.
And if you're listening to me by now, you know where to find me. I'm on.
You've heard of this. This old guy, Alan. You know him. You know where to find him.
I'm on TikTok. Instagram. I don't use X anymore because
X is done.
We don't. I don't. Gosh. All right. Say goodbye to 2024. Hello, 2025. It's a nice. Usually, I don't like odd numbered years, but this is a nice multiple of 5. So
25 is a good number.
It's a multiple of 25 and 5, which I think. It's a nice, good number. I think 2025, we're going to bring some good things in 2025. Let's put that out there. Let's manifest
let's put some positivity out there.
Yeah. All right. Well, Happy New Year again. Thank you so much. And
thanks for having me.
See you in 2025, everyone.
Take a deep breath, make the world a little colorful.